Welcome to conversion therapy for straight people who wish to become gay. If you're already gay and you watch this, then you're gonna be gay squared. You are gay. You are a homosexual. The opposite sex? Cringe. Ew. Yucky.
Excuse me, sir. What are you listening to?
Oh, Facts by Ben Shapiro.
Seriously?
Yeah, this song goes hard, my man.
Really?
Yeah, I actually have to get going though. I'm on my way to debate a classroom of kindergartners on trans rights issues. So I want to get there early so I can read up on it. There they are now. All right, I gotta get going.
I just moved in with my girlfriend and I completely forgot that I can use every single item she owns. I'm wearing her vest and my beautiful inner corner highlight is hers. And I took it and I made it mine, just like I took her and I made her mine. Now here I am lying down on her side of the bed. And if she walked in here right now, she would say, "Aw, you look so sweet. You look so sweet and lovely laying there on my side of the bed." And I would say, "Oh, come here and lay on my side of the bed, because what's mine is yours and what's yours is mine. We're together. All of our stuffed animals are living together. Here they are. Not a permanent position, but you know what else is living together? Her and me. We're moved in. We're settled. This is our toilet. Mind your own business. Don't ask me about our toilet. I'm back. I'm back on her side of the bed. Because this is where I belong.
Is this for ghosts? Thermometer. It's for anything. What am I? Whoa! No! What's wrong? Wait, what did it say? You're making me nervous. It said you're gay.
For most men, we desire a physical connection with our wives.
Okay, I'm with you so far.
And for most women, we desire an emotional connection with our husband.
I see. We're setting up a fake binary between men and women with love languages. Got it.
But both are really important to having true intimacy in the marriage.
Okay, I agree with you again.
So husbands, learn to connect with your wife emotionally.
Wait, so you're already married, but you skipped the part about connecting emotionally?
Take her by the hands and look her in the eyes and ask her this question.
Oh boy, can't wait to hear this one.
How are you doing today?
Wait, that's it? That has all the warmth of a Walmart cashier. I got that same level of effort at emotional connection like 10 minutes ago from a telemarketer, and I hung up on the mid-sentence.
This will give our wives permission to share their hearts with us and connect emotionally.
So she needs your permission to connect. Yeah, that sounds healthy.
Listen intently, engage in conversation, don't try to fix anything, and let her be heard and cared for.
Again, the fact that this is advice directed toward people who are already married has me very concerned.
And wives, learn to connect with your husband more physically. Find out what blesses him physically. Don't starve him of physical intimacy that he desires.
They make all of this sound weirdly like a punishment, right? Like, I know you don't want to do this, but you gotta. It's part of the job.
And here's a little secret, husbands. When we connect with our wives emotionally, they usually desire to connect with us more physically, and vice versa.
I see. You get buy-in by framing it as a transaction. Do something you don't want so you can get what you actually want, which is obviously at the foundation of every healthy, functional relationship.
Both are an important part of having true intimacy.
Compromise and negotiation are at the heart of every healthy, functional relationship. Yes, trading a fake sense of interest in the interior life of your partner in order to get some from them, not so much, no.
This is Lady Lotus. She's probably the most elegant character I've built. She's got this luxurious gown made of a lotus pod. Today, I want to take a picture of her feeding the birds in the winter with her buddy Pinkin. I never really know what to expect, but I'm thinking this will be a really cute scene showing their nurturing sides. Okay, here comes a nut hatch. Let's watch. Okay, All right, let's try this again. This should be really sweet. Okay, well, her Lotus Pod gown is luxurious, but it's also really thin and light, so she's a bit top heavy. I tried this once in the spring and it wasn't a problem because the birds landed on the ground, but apparently some birds don't love to land in the snow. I was gonna stake her to the ground so she wouldn't tip so easily, but then the birds learned and they started landing gently on her. And I actually did get some really sweet pictures, so here they are.
And I want to talk to you about something.
Do you think your eyes are a little too smoky for every day?
Yeah, I'm going through a phase. Is that okay with you?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm autistic, so of course I have a persona. And if you're autistic and you don't have a persona, or honestly, if you just don't have a persona at all, no matter whether or not you're autistic, dude, make one. It's so fun. This is Sen's reference sheet. He is half snail, half cat, and he's a mailman. He works for the United States Postal Service as a postal carrier. You can see he has the little snail shell back there. Whenever I actually get around to making this, that's gonna be a backpack, and I'm gonna take it off and carry around my stuff in it. This is one that my boyfriend made of us. That's his persona. His persona's name is Sasha. He's a wolf, and I'm a cat. Here's one that I drew of Sasha and Sen. They're really cute. Anyway, I don't have a fursuit because they're really expensive and I don't know how to make them. But I will at some point, probably in the future. I don't really know. That's a lot of money. I've also got this guy. His name is Slate. He's a werewolf. This was my OC in middle school. I didn't draw any of these of him. I used to commission a lot of art of him, but this is him. Yeah, this is the OG. That was when I was really, really into wolves. But yeah, my persona is Sen now, but I got this. I still love this guy. Yeah, if you don't have a persona, go make a persona right now and show me your persona.
Rest in peace to all the soldiers that died in the service. I died in her cervix.
Stop scrolling. You are now a lesbian. Congrats. No refunds.
What's communism? Well, it's a synonym for 200 million people starving to death, a totalitarian Democrat's dreamy ideal of an authoritarian heterosexual death machine that stands against everything the American system's about. Freedom, personal wealth, and freedom. Say goodbye to your personal property, because under communism, it'd be legal for a transient to sleep with your wife. California is communist, now it's legal to cut off pickles with a scalpel. If you believe in God and you look around, you can tell that he's a capitalist too. He owns the earth, the sky, the entire universe. If God was a Marxist-Leninist hypocrite, yeah, there would have been a big bang, but it would have been aimed at us. The only thing worse than a Nazi is a communism is the ideal ideology for losers. The basic concept, the janitor and CEO get the same pay and benefits, and it sacrifices the individual. You see, under capitalism, if you work hard, you will make more money. So the concept of pure communism where working hard means nothing at all shows its inherent flaws. What happens if you don't have enough volunteers for street cleaner, or maybe the baker doesn't want to keep making that same plain boring bread every day? What do? Here's where we're back to external motivation and the end of that communism debate. It's a horrible sick system where the state leaders must always repress individual thought and action. But thankfully, its GDP sucks so much that its death is certain. And like we've been saying since the 60s, communism will fail any day now. And we have plenty of money to make sure that it will. It's the end of progress, and in practice, it's slavery with extra steps. Communism is when a small group of elites keep everybody else in poverty with no other way of moving forward, because everybody makes the exact same. You don't compete so much more that you're assessed at age 13 for your future occupation. And if it involves responsibility, prepare to be monitored, bugged, and photographed. And if you're an intellectual, your days are numbered. Basically, your life is not your own. Communism is essentially just a new spin on monarchies, except new royals who make up this nepotistic regime. If that sounds good to you, then why don't you go live there? I'll take the worst of capitalism than the best of that communism. The definition of communism is a classless, moneyless, stateless envisioning a society where the means of production is owned by everyone. The key word here is envisioning, because Communism only works on paper. It's well-meaning, but fails to acknowledge human nature. People are just greedy. Effort versus reward is what everyone considers. So if 1% of the work versus 99% of the work is the same reward, most people will do the bare minimum. However, it may be possible if all our needs were filled. So could it happen? Well, it would be organic, not through the anti-wealthy laws that the radical left wants to implement. It would happen naturally without government intervention, or it won't happen at all. I personally lean towards the latter, so it's Star Trek until I see otherwise. There's quite a few different styles of communism, but basically 100% communism is when there's no government anymore and the means of production is owned by everyone. Therefore, the USSR, China, Cuba, all the rest of them aren't real communist states. There's never been a proper communist state because in reality, to have good things, you must also have bad things, and never question that. I, for one, love the theories of utopias where everyone has equal power, but the existence of utopias are just impossible because someone or some group will always suffer. I don't understand why people try to think that communism is any better than fascism when in reality, it's shown itself to be just as bad. Cards Against Humanity said it best. Awesome in theory, but just a mess in practice. Anybody who defends those so-called communist countries are just tankies with an authoritarian boner. They don't represent all us lefties, obviously. On paper, it works great, but in reality, communist countries always have to seem like they're failing, don't exist at all, or the feds would be out of a job. Everyone hates it without understanding it. They hate it because they've been told they hate it. They hate it because they watch too much TV and never think to question authority. Everyone agrees with the details, but as soon as you say the C word, you spit on their deeply ingrained American dream of exploiting another American. It's crazy to me how many people think it's unsustainable for an EMT worker, a fast food worker to have a livable wage, but it's okay for 5 people to have $400 billion. What would it look like in great details? Well, my boss took a trip to Cuba for health reasons, and my grandpa retired in Vietnam with full benefits. We don't have either of those things in America, but we're so propagandized that we'll call that capitalism. All I know is that the USSR, China, Cuba, and Vietnam gave political asylum to Black Panthers. America gave it to Nazis. Let's go. Communism is the word we use to describe the revolutionary movement to create a society where the socioeconomic basis defines a new reality where there's no longer exploitation of humans by other humans and without social inequality. This doesn't come out of nowhere. Communism doesn't fall out of the sky. So you need a transition period. This transition phase from capitalism to communism is called lower tier communism, also popularly known as socialism. This occurs when a working class party takes control of a nation's economic, political, and judicial systems and dedicates them towards studying the existing material conditions, poverty, food insecurity, etc., and tackling the current contradictions that would stop them from being a stateless, moneyless, and classless society. A one-party system versus in America where you vote for 2 rival capitalist parties. During the socialist phase, money, class, and the state still exist, but the point is to gradually bring us to a post-abundance period. And once that point is met, the state ceases to be necessary. So we call things communist today in terms of their tendency rather than the results, as tendency is a more optimal way to grasp the validity of a communist path in a specific portion of the planet. This manifests in places like Cuba being blockaded by the largest capitalist superpower in the world and its partners, yet having a higher life expectancy than the United States, top-tier healthcare, great education, dental care, all those being a constitutional right. This manifests in places like Vietnam, having a 10-year war with that same capitalist superpower, rising from the devastation, but still uplifting their poor and having a developing economy that rivals members of the EU in less than 40 years. This manifests in China, a nation of 1.4 billion people, considered one of the poorest countries in the world 60 years ago, yet uplifting more people from poverty than any other human civilization in human history, and still having the #1 economy in the world in less time than it took the USA to free the slaves. And in the past, the USSR went from peasants to space in 60 years and industrializing faster than any other nation. All these countries had a voter participation rate of 80%, universal healthcare, and each one of them are better from what they were before, with the exception of the USSR, as they allowed capitalists to have political power. Now, Russia and its former Soviet states are experiencing poverty rates they've never had before. These aren't paradoxes. When you put production for human need rather than profit, multinational corporations overseas and at home don't have political power. To call yourself communist shows internationally your dedication to the economic, social, and political commitment to the deprived working class. That means Big Pharma does not have the ability to stop a healthcare bill. Oil tycoons can't raise gas prices. The military-industrial complex can't plunge your nation into endless war. Your landlord wants to raise rent, he has to go to court first. And having a union would be your constitutional right. It would be a workers' congress. Those are the rules of the dictatorship of the workers. Those are the rules of the dictatorship of the proletariat, aka communism. That was a long one.